We are live from the studios of the Association of African Universities headquarters here in Accra, Ghana, and this is AAU Talks. My name is Kwesi Sam, and today on our show we will be discussing skills mismatch. Is it a reality or a perception? We have the industries in Africa. They always say that the graduates who come out of the universities are not fit for the job market. And this has been the talks of the industry players. And today we have experts who are human resource managers, and they are going to tell us whether this menace is a reality or perception. You can join the discussion via our social media platforms, Association of African Universities on Facebook, and AAU_67 on Twitter. I'll go for a short break, and when I return, I will introduce my guest. Stay tuned. This is AAU Talks.
In matters of life and death, you would never leave it to chance. You look for someone dependable, caring, and above all, someone who knows exactly what to do. At Wisconsin International University College, Ghana, we train our students to work in the most basic and in the most sophisticated healthcare environments. With the help of our new state-of-the-art simulators, the first of their kind in Africa, students learn how the human body really works and how it responds to various stimuli and treatments.
The nursing school has been in inception since May 2016, so we are in our second year. What sets us apart is the kind of environment in which the students are being trained, especially in terms of skills training. Our skills labs are among the best in the country and in West Africa as a whole.
You got to see a simulated birth here. We can do these births about every 7 to 10 minutes with a setup and things like that. Now, comparable to other simulation centers, obviously there's no other simulation center here in Africa that can offer that. In the States, this is very comparable to the same experience that our students in the States will experience over here.
Don't leave your education to chance. Enroll at Wisconsin now and get world-class training in nursing, community health nursing, and midwifery. Wisconsin International University College, Ghana. Leaders in international education.
Welcome from the short break, and this is still AAU Talks here on AAU TV, and we are discussing skills mismatch. Is it a reality or perception? And I have with me in the studios two wonderful guests who are HR, that is human resource expert, and together we are going to determine whether this is a reality or a perception. You can join the conversation via our social media platforms, Association of African Universities on Facebook and AAU_67 on Twitter. The first to be introduced, she is the Chief Executive Officer of KUSI Consulting, and KUSI Consulting is keeping you simply intact, and she is in the person of Miss Rita KUSI.
Yes.
You are welcome to AAU Talks.
Thank you very much for
having me. How are you doing?
Me. I'm fantastic.
Great. And the second to be introduced, he is also the Human Resource Manager for KUSI Consulting, and he is in the person of Mr. Seth Osei Kodia. Seth, how are you?
I'm doing great, KC.
I hope all is well as well.
All is well.
Great. All right. And so these are my guests for today, and we will set the ball rolling. We are discussing skills mismatch across the continent, whether it's a reality or perception. But let me pose to you the first question.
Sure.
Is there a reality or perception? Skills mismatch.
So it's really interesting, you know, because this conversation even started yesterday when we were having a meeting, and it just got really intense. It's become a reality because of our perception. Okay. You know, I think we as a people, like, you have to understand that you as a person, you shape your reality. Okay. Right? So for instance, if I'm an employer and I say, oh, this position is hard to fill, the talent isn't there, it's become hard, then that's becoming your reality. You're shaping it, you know. So first of all, we need to change our way of thinking in terms of that. It's not a secret that there's obviously a gap between our academic institutions and also our private and public sectors, you know, and I'm sure as the conversation starts, we'll delve a bit more into that. But yes, it's become a reality because of how we perceive it to be.
So it is not a perception. It's a reality for you.
It's become a reality, but I think it's because of our perception. So it, in a way, I can't say yes and I can't say no, But it has become a reality for most people, not for all, but for most, yeah.
Good. Let me see if Seth will say yes or no. Is it a reality or perception?
Yeah, Kwesi, I want to say a very good afternoon to our viewers. Okay, so it depends on, it's very difficult, issues like this, it's very difficult to actually settle on whether it's a reality or it's a perception. But in my point of view, I believe everybody has got his own skills. Everybody has his skills, and every employer actually has also gotten what he or she is actually looking for. And every company has actually also gotten its company culture, its company objective, its company vision. Every institution have its own way of working, and every institution also have its own way of approaching things, and the technology that is being used at a particular institution. Let's say, for instance, let's use AAU for example. AAU, the working culture or the organization culture or the vision and the objective of AAU is different from KUSI Consulting. So someone coming from KUSI Consulting or someone coming from AAU to come and work with KUSI Consulting needs some level of training. So we are actually having the talent. We are actually having the skills. There's no mismatch. I don't believe in the assertion that is a mismatch. No, there's not. Everybody has gotten its own talent, its own way of doing things. For instance, I sit here. I didn't do HR in school. I didn't do banking in school, but I've worked as a banker and currently working as an HR. It depends on what the skills that the person has. And before we even move on, one challenge that we are facing as African students, let's leverage ourselves, let's limit ourselves to Africa. African students is actually have to do with how to actually practicalize what we've learned in school on the job market. That's how, for instance, I remember the last time I had the chance, Rita wasn't around, to interview one SRC president of, I don't want to mention the name of the institution. Yes. So SRC president, and I'm asking that, how many years working experience are you having? And the person was like, I'm not having any working experience. But have you forgotten that the SRC president also work on his own? When I was in school, the reason why I've been able to, I didn't find myself victim of whether it's a perception of a reality, is that I was a member of the National Union of Baptist Students. So every interview that I go, I'm able to actually practicalize what I did as an organizer and evangelism secretary. So the evangelism secretary, I took it as marketing. Do you get it? So give your life to Jesus. That's what I used to.
Exactly. So you are selling Jesus too.
So when I go to the interview this is how I practically give the job to me. So how do I tell somebody like give your life to Jesus? So I thought because Jesus is this, give the work to me because I'm this. So how to actually practicalize what we've actually learned in school, the communication skills, whatever we've learned in school is the challenge here. So the talent is actually there. There's no mismatch, but refined talent. Looking for a refined talent is actually the problem here. So for us to get the refined talent that we are looking for, companies have their role to play. You, the individual, you have your role to play. The university also have their role to play. Okay. So I think as we go on, we will actually.
Seth gets like really passionate. I'm sure you can from our conversation.
But I believe you have something to add up again to.
I mean,
submissions from.
He's definitely right. You know, it's all about how you perceive things. You know, we just have to really learn to take our careers in our own hands.
Exactly.
I'll let you ask the next question, and I'm sure that we will snowball moving from there.
We believe definitely that as educational institutions, they are supposed to train the student, and the industry players are the end users of the product of the higher institutions. Exactly. But the training is not solely that of the higher education institutions.
Not at all.
Industries have a role to play. What roles does the industry have, or do the industries have to play in ensuring that we have nothing but the best student or quality graduate who come out of the institutions?
So I don't think it's fair to even just place the blame on the institutions or the what do you call it, the companies, the businesses, right? I think from the time that you're born as a child, your parents have a responsibility to nurture your dreams, right? To make sure that they have to identify what their kids are interested in, and be able to invest in their children, and be able to make them aware of their talents, so that they can also like live up to their passions and their dreams, their goals, right? But we live in a society where, and I'm sure we are all victims of it, you know, growing up, you only have 5 options. You can be a nurse, you can be a doctor, engineering, what else? What are the other?
Teacher?
A teacher. You know, we literally have about 5, you know, and so growing up, this is all you aspire to be. You know, you can be a doctor, you can be a nurse. I remember in university, I hope my mom is not watching, but you know, my mom, after high school, she kind of would bribe us a bit, you know, because my mom was so passionate about nursing. And she would say, oh, whichever one of you becomes a nurse, I'll buy you a car. You know, for me, I was the rebellious child, so I knew what I wanted to do, and I just went through with it, right?
Okay.
But, you know, my younger sister, she pursued nursing. And at some point, we were all just questioning, is this really something that she wants to do? You know, so I think as parents, we have a responsibility at that development stage to really follow through with our children, make sure that they are living their talent. Like, it's up to you to nurture it. Does your child want to do gymnastics? Take them to a gymnastics school. Is your kid into agriculture? Do they follow you to the farm? Are they interested in what you're doing?
Okay.
It's fine. Maybe, you know, this is the area that they're interested in. Don't force your children to take on careers that may not necessarily be for them, and they'll wake up one day. Eventually, it'll happen. And then they'll realize, you know what, this is not for me. I'm miserable. You know, so then when the child gets to that university level, yes, the universities and academic institutions have a role to play. And I think one of the key roles is making sure that you have career centers, you have career guidance,
student support services. Okay.
You know, but besides just having it, you also have to make sure that the students are aware of that these services are available to them, when they should be able to visit these the departments, right, and what they can gain from it. You know, so when I was in university, the first week when you start, first of all you go through orientation. So before you even start, you have a package. You know where every department is located. You know who is the head, right, and you also know why you should visit this department.
Okay.
I asked some students here about a couple of years ago. I was just curious to know if a lot of or all of the universities here in Ghana had career service centers. Some people told me no, but as I'm finding out, yes, they do.
Sure.
So is the issue
probably they are not aware of where the centers
they
are.
may not be aware. So you as the institution, you need to take this to the students.
Okay.
How exactly do you do that is what needs to be figured out. Now, the students, as you're approaching your senior year, you have to start taking responsibility and taking things into your own hands, right? You should have done some internships. You should have done some volunteer work. Like Seth mentioned, how everything you do at that university level actually translates into actual skills. It's an experience. You've had it. Whether you assisted a lecturer, you know, you've done, I'm sure you'd have some basic administrative skills just based on that. You know, and then once you are able to get into the real world, that's what we call it because it's real. You know, once you get into that real world, then you can, hopefully, your employer would be willing to groom you if you don't have like the experience that they're looking for. They should be willing to groom you through training, through workshops, maybe job shadowing someone that's there, you know, a supervisor, a boss, so that you can also gain that skills and grow within the company. You know, and for institutions, look, if you're looking for somebody to come into your company and literally work for you and grow with your company, and it's not just a paycheck for that individual, you have to invest in that person. They need to feel valued within that organization. You know, so everybody has a role to play from the time that the child is born up until they enter.
The parents have a role.
Everybody has a role to play.
The educational institutions have a role to play.
Yes.
And then the industry players.
Exactly.
But it appears the industry players are refusing to accept the fact that they have a significant role to play in ensuring that the students who come out are excellent. For example, a lot of the industries reject students who would want to do attachment, internships, and even some kind of volunteering work. What do you do?
Okay, Kwesi, thank you very much for your question. I think when I have a different perception with regards to these attachment-related issues. So let's say it's only AAU, for in quotes, that I came and I realized that all the students who are doing the attachment are given opportunity to actually learn more. But I remember during my school days, the only attachments that I did, I was doing photocopies and buying watches for my bosses and buying watches for my bosses and other stuff. I couldn't get
the skill and knowledge
that I needed. Okay, so I think we have to actually, industry people also have a role to play in training us. When you come for the attachment, don't let us do those photocopy, those traditional attachment that we do.
But sometimes
why
you don't
not? Though, like it should be part of it.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying,
it should be. You learn through that.
Attachment must actually be regulated.
Okay.
Have you seen the HR managers, the counselors of all the institutions and other? The attachment must be regulated. Maybe the time for the student to work on something or this, you realize that the student is actually going, go and do this for me, go and do this for me. I remember I've been working from ministries to go and buy kinky at SEPs. Those areas. I mean, long distance when you come, so all that we are good for is what?
Is to just go around, do
so we have to
the errands and everything.
We have to actually regulate the attachment. Maybe you go and they'll be like, oh, this place, an attachment is restricted to attachment.
An attachee can't go into this. Okay.
Obviously, we have to actually let them, once they come, obviously we shouldn't put them at one place, like you are at the front desk, so be at the front desk. There have to be a rotational something. You work at the finance department small, even though you're an accountant, you move to the reception, you move here, so that before you even complete school, you have become what? A refined package. You become the package that they are looking for. Also, one problem that I also have with attachment, maybe I argue with Rita a lot. Rita, every day when we are free, our leisure time, we argue. Yes, one thing about Rita,
I learned from him, he learns from me.
We are open to knowledge sharing. Okay, so we argue a lot. So one day I remember I was arguing with him and I was like, Rita, this attachment that students have been doing, I don't agree with that. Because an accountant doing an attachment, because all the things that you are going to the institution, you can learn everything online. So why don't you actually spend your attachment time on software? Listen, now every institution is to make you stand tall on the job market. Every institution is looking for someone, an accountant with a software. And our institutions are actually not giving us the opportunity to actually learn those accounting software. Let's say the Sage, the Pastels, and other stuff. Okay, so you have to be a bit strategic about your attachment, your long vacation. Okay, so that you also dedicate some to some software, HR software. If you are looking forward to be a very good HR software, accounting software, so that before you complete, you not go for an interview, go and tell the panel that you only know of Excel. Okay, for you to be in this situation too, the students also have their own role, the industry have their own role, but I think the students' role overpower the role of the industry, because you are responsible for your own capacity building. The industry, I want someone to come, I'm looking for profit maximization, so I don't have time to give you the training that you need.
That is wrong. Yes. I think that is where we tend to have the problem.
It is wrong. Everybody, so as it stands now, all the three entities or all the three stakeholders, the academic institution,
the government, and then the industries,
and everybody has its own role to play. So you realize that I mentioned that the industry must also create a room for the attachment, not come and sit down attachment, but attachment which will refine the candidates, help the candidates learn accounting small, you do this small, you do this small. So let's say you are in a manufacturing company, as an engineer, you go to the production department small, you go to where they mix the product, and so that it will refine the candidate for the job market, so that they will, at the end, they will benefit from, or they will get the right candidate that they are looking for.
Okay. Viewers, this is still AAU Talks, and we are discussing skills mismatch on the market, and we are looking at whether it is a reality or perception. My panelists are just saying it is either a reality or perception. I don't know what you think. If you want to join the conversation, just send your message or your feed via our social media platforms, Association of African Universities on Facebook and AAU_67 on Twitter. We'll go for a short break, and when I return, my guests are still here to do justice to the subject. Stay tuned.
What do you think about when you think of success?
Success is about hard work. Success is about knowledge and applying it for the good of the community. Success is about skills development. It's about creating innovative ideas and building a hope and making it a reality. Success is about having big dreams and chasing them. Success is nurtured here. We as National University of Science and Technology stand as the only key you can use to unlock doors for success. When you think of success, think in other terms.
Welcome back from the break. It's getting heated in the studios. We are still looking at skills mismatch, and today I have the HR expert, and so we want to really get the best out of them. Before we went for the break, Seth raised a very important question,
Yes.
or it wasn't even a question. He made a very important observation.
Yes.
Students go for attachment or internships or whatever, and all that they do is to fetch water,
Go buy
buy
washing.
food, and do other things.
Okay.
It's a reality.
Okay.
A lot of them will tell you, especially in some key institutions,
Okay.
where they feel that an attachee doesn't have the right to our systems, an attachee doesn't have the right to our softwares and everything. But you were saying it's all right.
Okay.
And I don't know what you think.
So it's almost like you're not ready to sit at the table, with the big bosses. And I think it's true. When you're fresh out of university, it's almost like you have to pay your dues in life, whether we like it or not, it's the reality. But I think it's up to employers to create an effective and conducive workplace for especially university students who are so impressionable. They are coming to learn, right? And they're building their careers. And if you're lucky, they will actually stay within your organization and grow with you, right? There's nothing wrong with getting wache and fetching water. Those, those actually teach you some real life lessons, right?
Okay.
If I place an order, or let's say we're all in this room, right? If I say, hey, you know what, go buy wache for everyone.
It means I trust you.
I trust you, first of all, to go and do this, right? And second of all, are you going to even get the orders correct? Are you going to come back with exactly what we've, it's
So everything counts.
It's real life lessons that these things are teaching you. But you can't just do that every day, all day. Go and buy wache, go and fetch water. There needs to be a balance.
Okay.
This person also needs to feel like they're putting their knowledge to test. They're putting it to use. And they're also learning. So what Seth mentioned, the technical aspect is very important. But then those little errands are also helping you to brush up on your soft skills, which nowadays employers are actually looking more for soft skills than hard skills. So don't take those errand running. And those things is actually what would get you noticed in some companies and say, wow, when I sent him to do that and run that errand, when I sent him to make those copies, you should see how organized this is. So it can also get you up. But I think maybe employers just don't do enough of the other things that also matter. And that's the problem. But listen, it's nothing wrong with going to buy wache and going to get water. It's fine.
What is important is that the student must have a vision or focus.
It's a balance, yes. Okay. They need to have they need to be getting the overall experience and not just from one perspective.
Okay. So Seth, can I really, as an attachee, can I tell my boss if all that I do is to sell wache? Can I tell him that, look, I'm here to learn A, B, C, D. Exactly. Can you really give me the opportunity? Will I be right to put that to my boss?
Actually, I'm not saying the wache. The wache.
We know that.
For the water, yes, okay. So I'm not saying
it's bad.
It's bad.
Okay.
It just can't be the only thing.
Too much.
It can't be the only thing.
That can be the only thing. Some of us do it for us to get favor. Maybe so they will write good things about us.
Okay.
But actually, we didn't do anything during
the attachment period.
Attachment period. So, listen, it's very difficult for an attachee to tell the boss that, oh, please, I came here to do, because as it's an African problem, or it's an African, we are actually not given the opportunity to speak up. Okay. So if you have the confidence and you think you can say it, why not say it?
But I think everybody should be able to say it.
Yes, you should be.
You should be. Speak up. This is the reason why I came here. This is my main focus for coming here. So actually give me the opportunity to learn what I'm supposed to learn.
Okay.
You see, But you know, it is very difficult to say it, as we have to be frank.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I made mention that there must be regulation.
Okay.
Do you get it? There must be regulation. The institutions and the industries must come together. Okay. So we come together, and we will actually propose what the attaché is supposed to. It must not be what the role of the attaché in the organization must not be only defined by the association or the institution that the attaché is going to work with, but all of us, all the stakeholders, the government should it has to be a coordination approach, so that everybody will view its point. This is what I want the attaché to as it's coming. Or if possible, we can even set up a job description for the attaché as it's coming.
Yeah, of course. Yes, sure. You should have a job description.
It's not done. I don't think it has ever been done anyway.
Okay.
Really?
I don't think. The job
unless, you know, there are some institutions where it is part of their academic work. For instance, I read psychology, and in my 3rd year, I'm supposed to do practicum, where the long vacation, the 3 months, I'm supposed to go into an institution based on my interest. And I do a 3-month practicum where my supervisors come around. And then they assess whatever I've been able to do. They speak to my line management, whoever. And then at the end of the day, I write a report and send back to school. So there is a job description. But I can agree with Seth that sometimes you may not be able to achieve even 30% of your job description or what has been outlined. But you're looking for an A. So they send you by A, B, C, D, E, you go, and then you pay less attention to. So what Seth is saying, it happens.
It makes sense,
but my key thing is, for those who do not have that regularized system, can you just point out to your boss clearly that I would want to learn A, B, C, D, so I will be happy if I go beyond buying watch and doing the errands and everything. And
of
openly,
course,
you should be able to.
You know, again, it goes back to perception, right? You start a job and you feel like, oh my goodness, I'm the newbie on the block, so I can't go and open my mouth. I'm afraid to go and even approach the bosses. You know, bosses have so much respect for people who have confidence and are able to speak up. You know, because at the end of the day, I don't want to hire someone who's just going to come and say, yes, 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 no. What are you bringing to this? You know, and I think when you speak up, it really shows that you're confident. It shows that you care about your career progression, and it also shows that you have the best interest of the company at heart, because you're asking these questions so you can be a better employee, right? You can contribute. It's fine. You know, it's always about the approach. How do you do? I mean, obviously, you're not going to go and say, hey, let me, you know, I want to address something, or go with an attitude, but respectfully approach your boss, your supervisor, and say, you know, can I please have a conversation with you? You sit them down, and then you just point out, since I've been there, A, B, C, D. You know, I'm all about documentation. Seth knows that. We document everything. And when you start out in your career, you should document, you know, so this is what happened on this day. Maybe I didn't like it so much. So when you go to your boss, you're not just talking, but you actually have facts. You have something to present to them, you know, and then you can say, if you're able to groom or train me on this, maybe it'll help me to. Employers want to know what you can do for them. Let's be realistic. Businesses are in it for themselves. You know, so if you're going to come to me with a problem, also come with a solution that's going to also work for the betterment of the organization, not just for you, the individual. I want to learn this for you know, the sake of advancing my career, but how can I be a better staff, a better team player for your organization? Please speak up, because I have this belief, you never know until you try. You know, so if you don't go and approach your boss, if you never had that conversation, but then you go and sit somewhere and say, oh, when I went and I did A, B, C, D, did you try to rectify the situation? You know, what was the solution? What was the outcome? If you didn't try that, boss is also very busy. But you know, sometimes they don't even...
Not to cut you short, but what would be the right process? Because students, a lot of them are on attachment, because this is a season.
Of course.
If I enter into an institution, what am I supposed to do? Sometimes you want to be a bit careful. You are confused. Should I say this? What is really expected of me?
Of course.
I think it would be good if you could share with all the viewers what is expected of you when you enter into an institution for attachment.
When you enter an institution, I mean, obviously you're an entry level, you know, or intern, perhaps. You'll be considered as an intern. you need to request a job description. You have to request a job description, right? Or some form of document that really highlights your responsibilities.
Okay.
You know, so that, yes, so that you, because it's about structure, right? You can't have someone who is trying to find themselves and figure it out come into your organization with no structure. That's going to be a cost to you, the employer, because they can do anything to cost you business, right? Anything to get you in trouble, per se. But you have to create structures. So when you go in for your attachment, you should definitely ask for a job description or an outline of what your responsibilities should be. Who should you even be reporting to? Do you know who you're supposed to report to? You know, who are you supposed to take orders from? Who is in your team? You really have to ask these important questions, because I doubt that someone, an employer or your boss would say, oh, you're bothering me, don't ask me all these questions. I mean, then that's not even an organization that you want to be affiliated with. But just make sure that there are structures in place that helps you, the individual, to progress.
Now said, how do you deal with difficult employers? Sometimes you are working with someone on internship and the person is a bit difficult. He's not opening up to you and you get confused. How would you handle such a situation?
Yeah, it is very difficult. Let me start by saying it's very, very difficult. Have you seen? I'm always concerned about how we are not able to actually practicalize what is being learned in school. And there. That is where you are supposed to practicalize your negotiation and communication skills. Your negotiation and communication skills. That's how you can test your soft skills. Have you seen? So in communication, they said when you are even talking to someone, you should let your listener be very, very important. So respect comes to bear here. Respect is the main important thing. That's what you have to let your supervisor know, that you respect him or you respect him or her, and approach the issue. So try to ask questions, but the question that you are also going to ask, it has to be an open question that can lead to conversation. Okay. So you need to that is where you are supposed to practicalize your communication skills that you have also, and also your negotiation skills. So it's negotiation. I want this from you, and you are not ready to give it to me. So how am I going to convince you to actually give it to me? So in this case,
you sometimes need to study the mood of the
person.
Exactly. Don't go to them when you know they are busy and stressed. You know, on a Monday.
So you go to him at his happiest moment, the time that you know, because you actually been working with him for some time.
That's when you have bosses who always have happiest moments.
Bosses who hardly have happiest moments. So you study the person and identify the time that you know this person actually needs something from me.
From you,
needs something from me, so that you can actually dialogue and also talk to him about your challenges or your issue. Or you can even start by saying, boss, I have an issue,
an idea,
or I have an idea here. I have this challenge, boss. I'm finding it difficult to do this. And I don't know, it's everywhere, but Ghanaian, once someone approaches you, oh, please, can you help me do this? The person is so happy to actually help you. So approach the person, boss, I'm trying to do this. Be smart enough. Have your own way of going about it. So just be smart. Boss, I'm reading this book and I can't, boss, I just want to enter the, boss.
This is not working. So
like, if I were to be doing my attachment at AAU, and you are my boss, and I realize you are very difficult, I'll come, oh, boss, what is the objective of the association? The objective of the association, you are having this. What does it mean? Why this? So that you have
a conversation,
and through that,
you share your
ideas, and actually, so it's
up to the individual skills.
It's up to a lot of it is up to the individuals. It's like, you know, in school when you're in a large lecture and they tell you to sit up in the front so that the lecturer can remember like your face, and all those things really matter, you know, because employers take notice of who the employees are. But you also have to stand out. You have to also push for a relationship. You have to push for
and show for
exactly, and not just stay in the background and wait for opportunities to fall on your lap. You have to aggressively, you know, push for these
Kwesi,
opportunities.
and those, to add to it, those who actually find difficulty in approaching their bosses are those who only focus on book. They go to school, anti-so people, they don't socialize themselves.
They don't socialize.
They don't mingle
socialize.
and other stuff. They don't talk to people, and actually they don't attend social events, churches, and all they know is I was brought here to come and read book. They will get first class, and organizational entry and relationship should be
it's out of the window.
Yes.
Okay. But Rita, do you think that there will be a time where industries would accept this role and responsibility that, hey, we also contribute to the refinement of students, because once they come out, we are the one who are supposed to employ them. So during internships, they open up their doors and they are ready. Institutions must have officers who are responsible for mentoring interns, mentoring attachees. Do you think we will get there?
I think we'll get to a place where they won't have a choice but to invest in talent.
Okay.
You know, especially with the rise of entrepreneurship. So many people out there have become their own bosses for these very reasons, right? So it makes talent is scarce, don't get me. It makes the talent a bit scarce. So if you're able to find talent, then of course I want to do everything in my power to retain that talent. You know, so employers, they're going to get to a point where we won't really have a choice but to own up to the fact that it is up to us, you know, to refine the talent, you know. And you know, everyone, especially, it doesn't matter, I think, what level of staff you're looking for, entry, mid-level, everyone that comes into your organization is coming from somewhere else. So they're coming with a different perspective. So it's up to you to make sure that they blend in well, they understand the culture, they understand your policies, they understand how things work, you know. So yeah, employers are just going to have to do that at some point.
Thank you so much. Viewers, this is AAU Talks. We'll go for a short break, and when we return, AAU TV is introducing another stream of program called 30 Minutes with HR, and we would have our guest also telling us a bit more about what you should expect on 30 Minutes with HR. Stay tuned. This is AAU Talks. Hi, we are still here, and we're discussing skills mismatch in Africa, and we are looking at how we can build that kind of synergy between industry and academia. And we still have the guest here. We are talking about 30 Minutes with HR, and that is a new intervention AUTV is bringing on board to make sure that students get the very resources that they need when they go out for attachment, when they go out to search for jobs. And we want you to tell us a bit more about this 30 Minutes with HR. What should students, what should employees and employers expect?
We're so excited about this show, which is premiering next week, Wednesday, July 4th at 1 p.m. Right here at AAU's headquarters. You can catch it on AAU's Facebook page. So the show is 30 Minutes with HR, and I will be your host. For the most part. We'll also have some resource professionals that will be joining us on occasion. So what can, you know, I think what students and recent graduates can expect are career tips, you know, but most importantly, we'll share a lot of content that will also help them to own, you know, that progression. Like how do you, at that university level, how do you start branding yourself? How do you start identifying maybe the industries that you would want to work in? You know, so we'll provide HR career tips to job seekers, recent graduates, we'll talk a lot about what's happening now in the real world.
Okay.
You know, like, do you know what the policies of your organization is? We'll talk about benefits and compensation. We will talk about employee leave. I mean, there's so much that's packed into this one show.
Okay.
Well, not one show, but like one series. So it's a 13-episode show.
Okay.
Takes place every Wednesday. We hope to have a lot of HR professionals also join us, because I'm also learning. You know, I've been in HR for about 14 years already, but I'm still, you can never stop learning, you can never stop growing. So we look forward to having these amazing resource people join us as well.
Okay.
But pretty much, you know, and for the employer, I think we'll be able to, sometimes the employers don't even know what some of these issues are, because it's not brought to them. You know, so hopefully through conversation, they will also be able to realize that, all right, maybe we need to do some things on our end to be able to retain talent. So for the employers, we'll talk about succession planning, retaining talent, employee-employer relations. Some things they can do to strengthen the relationships with employees is very important. And we'll also discuss trainings. So KUSI Consulting, we do recruitment, we do trainings as well. So I think through it all, everybody would be able to benefit from the show. And yeah, and the exciting part about it is that viewers get to ask us questions, and those questions will be answering live on air. You know, so you can ask questions through all of AAU social media platforms, through KUSI Consulting social media platforms, and also through our phone number, which we'll share with you.
We'll share on the screen.
We'll share it, yes. You can text, you can WhatsApp to that number, and we'll be more than happy to answer questions.
What should we be expecting?
Okay, actually, I'm so excited about this show. I can't hide my joy. I can't hide my happiness.
I can't tell your excitement.
Okay, so I can't hide it. So I'm so excited about this program. We at KUSI Consulting this year is all about knowledge sharing, and we are ready to share knowledge. And one objective that this program actually seeks to achieve is who to talk to. Okay. Obviously, talk to your HR, who to talk to. Obviously, so many times we have been having certain issues in our organization, in our institutions, that we don't even know the right person to talk to. Okay. We don't even know how to approach about it. We don't even know how to even go about it. And also, you made mention of during our earlier interaction, you said how must help me out. The name, the attaché.
Yes.
How do you even enter into an organization? It's not only for the attaché, even new employer entering into another organization, or someone switching job to a different organization. How do you even enter? Organization entry is very important. If you don't take it, it will spoil your name at the end of the day. Maybe you are not like that, but they will be like, oh, this guy, he likes talking too much. He's this, he's this, he's this.
From one job to the other.
Yes, he's this behavior-wise. So how to even relate to your other employees, how to even go about sexual harassment and intimidation related issue in organization, okay, and how to even organize quarterly appraisal and performance management. All those issues are going to also come into place. And one aspect that we also be introducing has to do with the legal and quantitative aspects of HR. Everybody thinks HR is all about writing administrative and do this, but we have quantitative HR where you can quantify how someone's sick leave can affect the company, how
maternity leave,
leave and all other stuff. So we are going to HR metrics. We are going to get all those quality knowledge, all those resource person, because we KUSI Consulting, we leverage ourselves on digital. When it comes to digital HR is broad. So we are going to actually share knowledge with other resource people to actually.
So who are our prime target for this? It means that we are targeting everybody.
We are pretty much. I mean, I think our prime target is definitely recent graduates and just young working professionals. So we have a more youthful target, but overall, yes, we're targeting everyone. You know, I don't think employers really, or some employers understand the whole HR function. Why it is important, first of all, to have an HR person within your organization or to outsource your HR functions. and what that the HR department is actually there to do. You know, because there's recruitment, there's training, there's healthcare, there's compensation, there's benefits. You know, there's Seth mentioned that, like the whole legal aspect. You know, so it's so broad. It's so broad, and for us, we really just want to be able to touch up, and it's also about your level where the level where your company is. You know, somebody who is an entrepreneur or just starting out might not need, you know, like a whole HR department, but you definitely need something. You have to start somewhere.
To survive.
Yeah, so that's another thing we'll be doing. We'll be providing career tips, providing advice also to entrepreneurs who are just starting out in terms of what they should do. You know, we leverage on technology a lot. So perhaps they may want to do the same, but these are the kind of conversations they can look forward to.
All right, thank you so much for coming on the show. Any last words that you want to share with your participant? Let me take Seth, your last comment, your last words to the viewers.
Okay, see, there is one WhatsApp group, there are about 200, the entire group said they are watching us live
wow.
on Facebook. So
that's
their names, they said their name is N Plaza Group.
Group,
yes.
So we're giving them a
so
shout out.
They are getting ready for the show next week,
so,
Wednesday.
So I'll actually entreat everyone to actually prepare for this show. Prepare for this show. So I'll advise everyone to actually make himself available, him or herself available for the show, toward the show, because this show, one aspect of it that is actually going to help the graduates, the recent graduates, is job search strategies. One thing that we don't know is that
searching for job, there's a strategy.
There's a strategy.
The time you even apply for the job, it's very, very important. Very. It's like because of the digital way of applying job now, it's like first come, first serve approach, and how to even prepare your CV to speak the right vocabulary. Because every job, every role has its own vocabulary and language. Its own language.
All right.
So
no, Seth, don't tell us everything.
Until
let's reserve for next week. All right, thank you so much.
And I'm usually the one giving stuff away. That's fine. So yeah, I mean, I think Seth pretty much touched upon everything. We're going to follow a process, you know, so because there's a process to the whole HR system. There's also a process for the job seeker. So from the time that you actually start looking for the job, once you get into the company, what should you expect? You know, when should you ask for a raise? You know, things like that. You want to go on maternity leave, what should you do? You know, there's just so much that we are going to discuss. So tune in next week, Wednesday, July 4th at 1 p.m. right here.
That is 1 p.m.
Super
GMT.
Excited. 1 p.m. GMT.
Great.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. And
thank you
we
for having
appreciate
us.
your time and your knowledge that you've shared with the entire continent.
Awesome.
All right. So, viewers, this has been AAU Talks. My name is Kwesi Sam. Make sure that next week, Wednesday, at exactly 1 o'clock GMT, you catch the 30-minute with HR live on AAU TV. Stay tuned. See you same time next week.